I never imagined that I'd be that frail, broken lady that everyone whispered about when she walked by. I never dreamed that I'd be a part of that small, unfortunate group that you never imagined being a part of unless you watched the evening news. I was certain that God was going to use my husband and I to advance his kingdom, and we were actively together planning and discovering how that was going to be. My husband Pat and I were high school sweethearts. We were married when I was 21 years old. In fact, he was my first and only boyfriend. We have 4 wonderful children, 3 boys and a girl. Just days after our 24th wedding anniversary, I got the phone call, that phone call, the one you never think will happen to you. Just like that, in an instant, he was gone. No goodbye, no I love you. Suddenly, I was a widow at 44, raising 4 children, 3 of which were boys, and even though I'd parented them for many years, I still didn't understand. For all of my adult life, I'd had someone to make decisions with about everything. Now, in the midst of extreme grief, I was forced to make decisions all on my own. Cremation or burial, move or stay. After all the dust had settled and most had returned to their own lives, I found myself alone at home. Fridays and Saturday nights were the worst. The kids were often doing things with their friends, and for this I was grateful. But I was not ready yet for normal activity. Watching TV was too hard. Music of any kind sent me into a quick downward spiral. If I went out with friends, people I knew were afraid of me, and people I didn't know surely would ask a question leading to disaster. Alone with my thoughts was not a great place to be either. I began looking for online widow support groups. There was mostly chat sites available, and while it was comforting to relate to those who were chatting, I didn't find it all that helpful with the burning question, what's next? After a year had passed, I began discussing with my sister these issues. She's a writer. She had stirring up in her a notion that together we should write a book. So we did. In the process, though, along with her husband, Doug, we began to be amazed at the lack of resources available for young widows. Organized grief support groups tended to be made up of either all older people who were in a completely different stage of life, or people grieving the loss of all sorts of things, a divorce or the loss of a pet. While these things are difficult and support is helpful, it's too different to be an encouragement in helping encourage or navigate the future. With me at the wheel and the 2 of them navigating, we have begun on this journey to help young widows not only survive, but thrive. We are passionate about changing the stereotype of widowhood. We are not broken. We are not frail. We want to challenge the culture to talk about this unique situation instead of avoiding it. Our organization is called the Paisley Project. It's inspired by this fantastic pink paisley shirt that my husband Pat was known for. We are committed to the necessary connection from one widow to another, practical instruction in surviving the first 12 to 18 months, but also, just as important, we will offer education and resources for the supporters of widows who want to help but don't know how. Beyond surviving, we are committed to help young widows reinvent their lives. I believe this is a process that requires a community of committed creative supporters behind it. The Paisley Project is the team for that.